Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh, yeah. Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
This week is an Idora Park flashback. I make the red candy apples from an original recipe and enjoy a virtual park tour with Mark Miles. But first, let's get an update from the Amy's. Well, I'm back here at the Idora Park Experience. You remember Jim and his wife, Tony Amy. They have collected all of this memorabilia and housed it right here on their property in Canfield. And looks like things are changing in the Amy family.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We're looking at donating the entire collection, and it needs to stay in the public realm. We want the people to be able to enjoy it, and we're probably not going to be doing it anymore. Our house is up for sale. We're looking at moving. If the house sells, then it's got to go someplace. If the house doesn't sell, it'll probably stay here, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, you have spent how many years in pursuit of all of these items?
Over 30 years.
30 years. Yeah. And it's got to kill you to donate it or to not have possession of it.
But it's, okay, we bought just about everything.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like it's really ours. It's bigger than us. It belongs to the community because this is part of our history and it needs to stay. Money spent is money gone, and it's not really a concern because it's a bigger thing that it needs to stay.
And are you getting interest from the Historical Society? Are they interested in possibly, I mean, this is a hell of a collection.
Yeah, but we have some issues because we expect it to be on display. There's certain requirements we have. It can't be in storage, and we don't want them selling it. Mm-hmm. We can do that. So we want it to stay together. We want it to be available to the public.
Right now he has, 6 of the 15 Wildcat cars?
Yes, so far.
And this is your latest one?
Yes, it is.
This is the latest acquisition?
Yes.
And how did you happen upon this?
I knew the people that had it. They weren't willing to part with it, and I just kept at them. And finally they said, in the spring...
Oh my God, if you promised to go away,
I know, that's probably why I got it. But they finally said, okay, so we worked out a price, and we went and picked it up.
And you got it.
Yeah, so we have all of the baby Wildcat cars, all 3 of them. We have 6 of the 15 Wildcat, and we have 1 of the 6 Jackrabbit. So,
right.
If there's something that's big, that's iconic from Idora, I want to save it.
And I think the Wildcat's got to be, that and the Rocket are the big daddies, And then you were telling me, though, that these are worth more not restored.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And another question I have is, on your wild chase and the hunt, how do you know that these are authentic and true to Idora?
Oh, I do my research. We're in our 3rd book about Idora
Park.
Park, so
I cannot wait
I have got to know what I'm
these.
talking about, or else I'd lose out, and I don't want to do that. So I do research for photographs.
Really?
Because I have to examine photos, little holes, little things that are on the body, a sticker that's broken, these guardrails here, these hand
and
guards.
You say some of them, just cracked off.
Well, some of them are gone. Yeah.
I mean, what's really weird is the smell is still the same. You can still remember the smell. Mm-hmm. I think, your, olfactory senses, but you can smell, it's kind of...
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad
thing. I don't know,
thing.
but there was that, because it was an old roller coaster.
Yeah, it was.
And when you got on it, it had a funky smell, and it still does.
We have the only Lost River boat, Rapids Lost River boat. And we've had people say, it doesn't smell like it did.
Well, it's not enclosed.
Because it had that stinky water, and
oh my
it's like,
gosh,
I don't know what you want me to do. We're not going to put stinky water in the boat, so.
I know, but you got Mr. Bongo, you got the tapes.
Bongo Jerry.
From
we got all the sounds, thanks to Joyce
all
A.
The sounds. That is awesome. Tony has bought in
Yeah.
and join
Literally.
Jim on all these adventures. And she is a true believer because you've never stepped foot in Idora Park.
Never stepped foot in Idora Park.
She's
It
from
was long gone.
California, but you do believe.
I do, absolutely.
And now you've got 2 books
Yep.
and a 3rd one underway.
Yes.
How has it been writing all these books? How much have you learned about the craziness of this area and just all there's so much you must have picked up not being from here.
So that's exactly what it is. It's been a learning experience, you know, because I go in and I read his, so our books are told in 3 parts. He tells a story, and then I give the truth, Spike's side of the
Okay,
story, and then we have the life lesson that we've learned. So I have to wait for him to tell his story,
So you could clean
and then
it up.
I'm a whole bunch of questions about
Is
what are
this
you
true?
talking about, what's true, what's not true, what am I supposed to really say? And it's easy for me on the adventures. Of course, I know what
Because
we
you
did,
go along,
but I
yeah.
don't really have the history behind it. You know, so I learned from the people that come out and visit us.
And is that how the Lost Idora got written?
So Lost Idora got written. Actually, the publishing company approached us and said, would you do this? And
Yeah.
at first we said no, and then a few years later we said, yeah, that we have enough material. But by that time, we had lots of photos, we had lots of
Mm-hmm.
stories from people coming in here sharing their stories with us. And so we started with that, and we actually did that one first.
Did you
even
enjoy
though
it?
I did. We wrote that in 3 weeks. Wow. Yeah, three
Now,
weeks.
and then Nuct, how long? This is.
That took a little
I
bit
guess
longer.
I got one of these, and I must have lost it. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
you might
what
have to
happened
ask Tamara
it.
where it is.
And so we could get all these books online.
Yes, so everything is available on our website, as well as you can go to any book retailer and get it through
And
them
is it
also.
true that I can make a pre-order?
So you are the very first to know. We've not told anybody, but anybody going to our website right this minute can pre-order Nuct 2 and see the brand new cover that is just being
And
released.
They can pre-order it.
They can pre-order it, and our goal is that we hope to be at the Canfield Fair this year. A lot depends on the house and what obligations we have related to selling the house. But even with the house sold, we think we'll be out of the Canfield Fair, and we'll have the book published, printed, and ready to go.
Ready to
by
go.
then. Yeah.
And then selling the house. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's exciting. It's a little nerve-wracking. We love our home. It's a beautiful
It's a
home.
beautiful
We love
home.
everything about it. And so it's a little bit of, gee, what are we going to do, and are we going to do it? But it's also exciting. I'm looking forward to whatever life brings us, and I'm looking forward to the next people that come in here and make this their place and do what they're going to do with it.
We've respected it. It's important that it's maintains that respect, and wherever it goes, they need to respect it as well, because it's an important part of our history. How many people get a amusement park in their hometown? You know, there aren't many of them, and we had one, and we need to respect that fact and honor the fact that we had it.
Kamara Jewelers is the place to buy an engagement ring because we want a relationship with you that lasts a lifetime. Your commitment with her is the same commitment we have to you.
We want to sit down with you and teach you about diamonds, so you're educated on what you're buying. We have the largest selection we ever have, which is the largest in the area, and at the best value. And if it's not something in our case, we could always custom make it. We could make any dream come true.
Get real, get Kamara.
Join the Isle and Purple Cat family. Employment opportunities are available. Given is living.
Join the Isle and Purple Cat family. Employment opportunities are available at $13 an hour. Given is living.
Woolley Brothers has a great choice of quality cheeses. We use our relationship with Old World Houses to specially select the product and then have it custom cut and packaged by our own local artisans. At Woolley Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
I'm all about local, and my bank is Farmers National Bank. Farmers is the true hometown bank in the Mahoning Valley, standing strong for our local families and businesses since 1887. Farmers is also future-focused with a lab branch, interactive teller machines, and best-in-class mobile mortgage app. We've all learned the value of local relationships, businesses, and communities. Switch to Farmers. Well, you think about Idora Park, of course you think about the French fries. That was probably, the most famous food to come out of there. But also the candy apples. And on the Idora Park Memories page, I found the original recipe for the red candy apples. And Mike Biscan, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, posted this from his grandma's cookbook. And it says the Idora Park recipe. So it's 3 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water, 1/4 cup oleo or butter. My grandma always used to say oleo. 1 teaspoon of vinegar, and then the red food coloring. And so I said, well, we've got to make this. I've never made candy apples before. And I started doing some research, and you have to prep the apples. Granny Smith, everyone likes to use them, but they're dipped in wax. So to prepare them so the candy coating will stick, you have to bring a pot of boiling water up, and then about 5 or 6 seconds, that's it, put the apples in and get them right out, and then wipe them with a towel, and it takes away their shine, that fake wax, and they're a little more matte. And then I let them dry out, on the counter overnight. And this is what it looks like. Isn't that wild? Look at the difference. These are the same apples. I got the wooden sticks. Thank you, my friend the butcher at Sparkle Market. And you just stick it in like that. Well, it's a little cockeyed. I'll have to fix that. And then, that's how we dip it. So the first thing we have to do is dissolve the water and the sugar. And this is like a super strong, simple syrup. So we want it, it's not gonna run clear like a simple syrup because it's 3 times more sugar than water. But it does look like it is dissolving nicely. And you're also going to have to make sure you have a candy thermometer, because the regular thermometers don't go up high enough, and we've got to get this to about 290, 300 degrees. All right, so now it's coming to a boil, and as you can see, it's still pretty opaque, but now is the time that we are going to add the vinegar. That'll probably stabilize it, and I don't have any oleo or margarine, so I'm using a 1/4 cup of butter. So now we're gonna melt all this down, and there wasn't any specifics on the amount of food coloring, but I think the food coloring is so important. So I'm gonna start it at about a 1/2 teaspoon, and then we can draw it from there. But I think, this is pretty concentrated, so we'll see. Ooh, this is really exciting. This is exciting. This is like my second batch. So, but oh my goodness, such a pretty color. Look at that. All right, so now it is come to a really nice boil. I don't know if you can see that, but you have to be super careful with this stuff because it gets hot really quickly and you don't want to scorch it. So now I am going to stick the thermometer in. Okay. And I have to get my glasses, of course, because I can't read. But right now the temperature is going up, but we're not at 290 yet. It will take a little bit of time. But that was the one specific that his grandma had. He dead on the temperature. So as this goes up, we'll just keep stirring it and wait for it, because it'll kind of be like a hardtack candy. So we have reached the 290 degree mark. Actually, I think it's closer to 300, but that way it'll stay warm. Now, just in case, if you see that it starts to cool down too quickly, I have a pan here with boiling water that we could put it in if it needs to be thinned out, but I think we're gonna be okay for now. So let's take out this thermometer. Do not wash or do anything until it cools down. All right, so here we go. I have parchment paper here, so it won't stick when I dip the apples, so you have a place to rest it. And all we're gonna do is twirl them around. See, just put them in, twirl them around, cover it completely. And, oh, it's sticking very nicely. See, look at that. And then you let it drip. Look how pretty these are, huh? Isn't that amazing? And you know what? It really doesn't matter which end you stick. You could do the stem or you could do the bottom. It doesn't really matter. So now we set them there to cool. It'll be about 20 minutes for them to get really nice and sticky hard. And you should try to consume these within a couple days. But it looks beautiful, doesn't it? You know, I mean, it is just gobs of melted sugar. This is crazy, right? So, well, I kind of made it down. But I think what I'm going to do is use the knife and stab it. And that way, I can get a whole bite of the apple, right? But it's cracking off. What I suggest is you wait a little bit longer. Keep them on the counter for about 20 or 30 minutes. They're really good though. I mean, they held up very well. And then when you get some time, use cellophane and wrap them or put them in an airtight container and keep them in your refrigerator. Don't let these sit on the counter because they have been heated up and you really don't want any bacteria to set in. But I'm telling you, these are really, reminders of days gone by. When was the last time you had a candy apple? So I want to thank Mike for posting his grandma's recipe. And all the instructions and the ingredients and that will be on my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. So go and get the red candy apple recipe. Cheers.
Rulli Brothers is way ahead of the competition. Check out Rulli Spice World, where you can buy bulk herbs and spices, plus candies, nuts, and fillings for pennies on the dollar. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
It's happening now. Construction is underway at GavaCamp, a year-round destination for adults with disabilities and their families to get away, close to home, accessible to all, with no barriers. Donate now to GavaCamp. Giving is living.
So I'm here with Mark Miles. We're sitting in a Jackrabbit car. And, well, I'm sitting, he's standing. And right here is would you call this animation?
I guess you could, yeah. It's animated.
It's true animation of the actual Jackrabbit ride. How did you get involved in all this? This is so well done.
You know, I've always been a fan of Idora Park. I lived 2 houses down, and I used to watch this very ride. As you turned the corner, it would go right down the front of my street, and you could see it.
So where's your house? Did you put your house in it?
It is in there. It is in there it's on Woodford Street. It's, Then one day I was on YouTube, and I saw the Cedar Point recreation done with this software, and it was just so good. And I thought, you know, I got to go see if someone did one for Idora Park, but unfortunately no one did. And I said, well, I'm going to have to fix that.
I just can't even imagine. How did you get everything to look so accurate? I mean, how everything is accurate. I mean, all the outbuildings. I don't know if this is the exact pitch or how steep this actually was.
It's
but
pretty
I mean,
close.
you could almost. How did you get all that information? And how did you get it so accurately?
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
A little OCD there, Mark.
I think you need to have that.
How many hours did it take to create this?
Well over 100. And it took me 6 months just to learn how to use the software right. So, and then a good another 6 months, maybe 10, 15 hours a day. Yeah, what happens is I'll be perfectly satisfied, and then I'll happen for some reason upon a picture I didn't see before. Or
darn Jimmy.
Yeah, right. I'll be on Idora Park Experience page, and suddenly someone will post a picture, and I'll say, "Oh, it's wrong.
I like the one.
I have to go
tell
fix
me
it
about
now."
the one. They were looking at his Wildcat, and they said you didn't have the bathroom.
Right, yeah.
The guy told you were missing the bathroom.
I didn't even know. That was very early on, and the folks from Idora Park Memories, one guy spent a weekend going back and forth with me, even gave me satellite images from the 60s to help me make it more accurate. I didn't know either. I said, it wasn't Google because they weren't around back then, so I don't know how they did it. But yeah, he had those, and he shared it with me and helped. A lot of people helped with their memories of getting it better. Yep.
So do you have a girlfriend or a partner that shares your
Oh yes,
love
absolutely.
of Idora?
Love of Idora and love of local amusement parks in general. So, and I probably wouldn't have gotten away with spending as much time as I did on this if I didn't.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I'd have got a talking to.
Do you go to other parks? Are you like Cedar Point?
Oh yes, I like the smaller parks. Kennywood is probably the biggest park I like.
Nice.
Waldamir's has a almost Idora feel to it.
Yes.
So I really like that. So I like those parks. I liked Conneaut Lake Park until it got destroyed. Now there's nothing there.
You know, the
but a
Blue
carousel,
Street
yeah.
was, I mean,
I actually did one for Conneaut Lake Park.
These are rare treasures.
They are.
And I mean, it's so good for the local community to have something this accessible.
It is.
I mean, because Cedar Point is getting out of control price-wise. Disney, forget about it. I mean, you know, it is a lot of money to visit these places where the locals really try to keep it in the employment. Think of all the people that go and work at, you know, Kennywood and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you know, Jim worked there. Both of my sisters worked at Idora. You know,
Yep.
all these kids I knew did.
Yeah. And that's one thing I never considered when I started this, and it was just for fun. It was just kind of casual until I sent that first video, and Jim put it up on his page, and it went absolutely bonkers. I had someone who, an older lady, she sent me a message. She said, "I'm 80 years old and I don't have a lot of time left, so you better hurry up and get this thing done." And I was like, oh my. I better like start working on this thing because people are taking it seriously. The thing about this is an open sandbox, so I have all but about 3 or 4 rides that could be, you know, could have videos made of them.
Are you going to do the Lost River?
If there's people out there that remember the Lost River enough to tell me exactly what was inside the channel that I don't have any memory of.
Right.
I mean, technically, you could do it now, but it won't be.
There, you know,
right.
Out. I don't know if
I don't know if I can duplicate that with triangles
right.
and squares.
Now, if people want to come and see the animation, where's the best place where they can go and see all your work?
On the Microsoft Frontier, if they type in and search for Idora Park 1983, this will come up, the most recent version of it. and I update
Okay.
that regularly.
And then all of your other videos are there also?
Not videos, the actual park itself, you can move around freely throughout it. And
It's all there. So this is part of a bunch of different parts.
yep, it's one unit. It's one thing and it's a sandbox, and you can move around in it freely.
So
You
I
could
can
go
go on the
anywhere.
ride and then go for a walk.
You could go to
Then
the
get on another
French
ride.
fry stand. The French fries aren't real though, so it won't help you, but you can go there, and yeah, it's really nice.
No, this is beautiful. It's an honor to meet you.
Oh, it's an honor for me to meet you.
Boy, you're the best, Mark.
Oh,
Mark with the C
Aw,
is
shucks.
cool. Mark
Aw,
with
shucks.
the C stands for cool. Here is drone footage of Idora Park in its current state, and we've overlaid memories of the days gone by. And even though it's overgrown and abandoned and neglected, thanks to enthusiasts like Jim, Tony, and Mark, the fond memories and history of Idora Park will live on.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.